Nora, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, as always. Very lovely introduction. Very much appreciated, Charles. And yeah, so welcome to the presentation today. And I will start with, I have no presenter. Okay, thanks. So we will do first a chapter on the summer 24, an update of what is going on, and then, of course, kick off winter 24-25. And so our performance colors by Nora Kühner forecast, the collaboration in between performance days and myself, plus a team of designers, international designers, all focused in sports mainly, has the title of Metamorphosis. And I think we are all aware of this metamorphosis, of this transformation. We are already, or have been talking a lot about transformation of our industry, of systems and structures, of thinking. And we felt very much inspired by the transformation, by the metamorphosis of the butterfly. So we choose this word, and we want, and I want just to explain a little bit what the thoughts behind. And I think more than ever, it's already, and this has been confirmed over the last month since we first started working on this topic for summer 24, that we can say there is a clear before and after. We will, when we look back we'll look back in 10 years, we will clearly recognize this pandemic. What started with the pandemic has really turned into a separation of the time before and the time after. And now it's our time and our time to shape and to shape anew. We have seen all these crises and all these disasters more or less happening now at a regular base, and we know that it won't be better in the future. We might be able, and this is what we have to aim for. The goal is really do what we can do to really provide solutions which help protecting our living base called the planet Earth. And one thing which I want to mention in context with this picture on the left-hand side. And this is a picture an Italian colleague of mine has taken this summer in the Italian alpine area in the Dolomites. So, hey, it's getting closer. And nearly all of us can now, in the meantime, share experiences about what has been the result of our doing, or what turns into the climate crisis, climate change, the global transformation of our living circumstances. And driven, of course, by our ever-growing lust for big sizes, big extreme things. We were driven by growth, eternal growth, which is by itself something which cannot work. Everybody knows this, but this was our goal, and is still our goal, a goal of the most. And so the question for me, which stands really for our economic system, what has been the driver of all our doing also in textile, is it scalable? Is it scalable? Can we really sell a lot? Can we make a lot of money? And this world obsessed by numbers and measuring everything has really lost its connection with the more natural and more empathetical aspects of being a human being. So, and now it's time to change. It's now time, or it has been for a long time to change, but now it's really getting more and more urgent. Every day, every hour, every minute. And so when we discussed in the team about these topics, it was really clear that we cannot only talk about colors. We have to know the background. We have to have the idea. And it was also for us as designers and product developers, it was really questioning ourselves. How can we are part of a system, and how can we now help change and transform for a better and more responsible industry? And our seasonal core colors reflect what is going on around us. So we see here, as some of you might already know, we define 6 or 7 core stories or color stories for the season. And each story is described by 7 to 8 color shades, color hues. And in these single stories, we have 3 lead colors or core colors, colors which set the tone. And the other colors in that story, which you will see later, they just underline the feeling. So we have this first story, fractured linearity, a very familiar shading, especially for outdoor clothing, inspired by the warmth, by the green outdoors, by sky blue. Then we have this disembodied, a topic which is really also important, especially as we, as a textile industry, touch the human body as no other industry does it with our products. But we all know about digitalization, and living in digital worlds, in immersive spaces, is a topic for more and more people. It's already a big business around the globe or in parts of the world. And so what happens to the human body and to our feelings and emotions if we are disembodied? Then we have this hot story, the heat is on, with the reddish tones, and then entanglements, more dull story in color terms, and with on the other hand side, aspects of summerly feelings due to these aquatic tones, and then again, a more dream-like situation or not. We don't call it a dream, but we see the world as we used to be and as we have experienced the world up to now. We see this as something which is now no longer reachable very easily. So it's a dream to cling to, and then unbounded excursions. So this is the way we have organized our life, our work, everything. And this is now broken. This is what we see, this fractured linearity, our linear thinking of how we organize things, how we live. We make our plans. So on Monday I do this, in February I do this. It's just like these timelines we all know very well and which put pressure on us. So this is a system which is really fragile. It can easily be cracked. What we see in our supply chains, what is happening there. So this linear thinking and also the structures in linear way are not that resilient. And this is something we really have to overcome, and not only for circularity in our thinking about sustainability, but circularity is in terms of resilience and also variety, and not so and more robust. Being more robust is a better structure than this line, which you can cut and hackle, and so this is broken because life is all but linear. You make plans, but you are not always sure that the plans will come true, that they will follow your ideas, your planning. So our planning is very much fragile and depends that a lot of factors act in a way or come at a way which you expect them to. So we have here this color feeling, as said, a very earthy, familiar color shading. We wanted to reflect our relationship with nature, this really strong impact. Sometimes we are not fully aware of all the benefits which nature provides to us. So this is really a celebration of earthy colors and creating a familiar, cozy color feeling, so that because this is something we really need in times like these. You see here some reflections on the topic of regular and strict grids, of strict structures, which are, of course, exciting in some aspects, especially with some finishing, like here with metallic sparkle or these glassy reflections. But on the other hand side, with design, this graphic from my colleague from Lithuania reflects very much what we have been doing in extreme over the last years, or over the last decades, is to fragment everything. Yeah, to put everything, even our work processes, in small particles, in small units. The more units, the better, because then people have only to focus on one topic and they deliver better work or whatever. Think of an assembly line. Yeah, but now this is cracked. Here are some examples, also from in fabric. I like this very much, with contrast. So, as said, life is all but linear, and though we are very creative with our structures, with our thinking, nevertheless, this is the more natural thing, the more cozy, where you feel more comfortable with. And so these are ideas how we can move on. Especially, as said, we have this topic of disembodied. Body and space, the symbol of being human. We are human beings. Our ancestors, our early ancestors already moved on and went on to explore the world around them. So they moved all over moved from the Sahara to other places to discover new things. So it was always how we interact with the space, with a feelable space, with a space you can sense, you explore it with all your senses. Now, with digital life, this is only shrinking to all eyes and ears. And so we see here these no clear contouring, everything is fluid, dissolving somehow in the air, very airy. Of course, it's very appealing. It's one of the pictures everybody told me, oh, I like this picture very much. But it's, on the other hand side, it's a reflection of these digital things. You cannot grasp at it, it's floating away. And so are the colors, something which we really see also in our work as a team, and when we meet for color meetings. We have been so our color feeling has so changed so much. We want saturated, brilliant colors, because to all the time we spend in front of the screen. This online coloring is really shaping a new color feeling. Yeah, so it's hard sometimes to find a way out. So these colors are more or less artificial colors, where splendor comes from being lit within. So it's like they would have an innate glamour. And we like this this story very much, especially also for well-being sports, for yoga. But we can also see nice outdoor clothing, more fashionable look with these colors interplaying for checks and other these patterns. And like here, the feeling, the overall feeling, and we have to reflect it. I just was talking last week in Portland in a remote session about more diversity in outdoor sports. Still today, our focus especially outdoor sports is very, very homogeneous, how we create our collections. The picture of collections is really, to me, it's more or less boring most of the time. So I would expect that we reflect more the diversity of society, and not the diversity, I'm not speaking about gender or identity only. It's about the whole thing, every diversity. There are other people on the planet who have another understanding of being outdoors and doing sports. And all these layers together, they offer so many inspiration that we should really pay attention and develop more. Here's some fabric. One thing I liked very much, this is from Hyperbola, with metallic shimmering, and also here no clear contouring. Don't look for the color, of course it's in black and brown and a little bit of white and not purple, but I loved the spirit and therefore I colored it in. And on the other side, with fabric from Scholler, this is also this movement and being agile and active, I like very much. And here, my colleague from Italy, Felicia, she really felt the need to say, hey, it's wonderful to be a human being, to have a chance to move your body, to sense your body, to feel your body, and enjoy the pleasures instead of sending your avatar to the training. So we are at crossroads. We have to discuss and to find out what we want out of future, where we want to go, and how we want to do it. And of course, the whole story is complex and diverse, a feeling which will continue to stay with us for the next seasons, for the next years, because there is no easy solution, or even not, there are no easy solutions. Also, this is not easy. So this feeling, this desire for more comfort, for clear ordering of things, and how to really enjoy life. This is always very fragile and very loaded with a lot of layers, things of information, things happening, crises. So what we want is more on, something which is precise, which is clear. This is an illusion, but we want it. So we reflect this with this color story. It's also very precise in coloring. We have this creamy white and shady black, and then this clear message for, yes, we know the heat is on, but we play with it, we can feel comfortable, because on the upper inside we need this warm feeling, this coziness, which is in here. And so some inspiration for graphic work, for playing around, for playing with patterns of any kind, rough sketches, rough drawings, oscillate from really just a handy scratch, and then on the other side, very precise graphics and shapes. Of course, the world, we are entangled all around the world. All these entanglements of our modern world, from super complex with the simple rope, all these entanglements are really important. But we have seen during the last 2.5 years that these connections and this sometimes over-connected world is also easy to break, and to break the ties in between. And we see in the same way, we see this preference for being, for going into niches, or being with only your own, as we call it, filter bubble, or we live more in groups and in communities than together. So it's again like everything about being human is always has two sides, and this extreme gap in societies today, which is still growing everywhere, it's really something which all we have to overcome. I read an article over the weekend, and I liked the wording, which translated into English, I would say it's about radical togetherness. Only radical togetherness will really help to solve the problems we face. And so we have to find compromises. And as I said before, we were inspired when we talked about the season by the butterfly. So here you see the butterflies in their early stadium. And we loved the pictures with natural golden honey color, honey yellow, also with amorph things, something which is more human, and it's usually more, makes you feel more cozy than the strict grids and classy and steel facades, for example, of our built environments. So here our coloring, as said, a very aquatic touch, clearly feelable. Water has inspired us a lot, especially as clean water is at risk in a lot of places. And we all have seen how far with problems with water and not enough rain to what it has led over the last summer. And with stories also, and my colleague Mirella from Italy, she put it in this collage. We have to also organize and think about new collages, how of our life, new aesthetics also, new ways of putting things together. So at first glance, maybe we say, okay, this doesn't match or this doesn't work together. But as said, radical togetherness and accepting also compromises, and slowly but surely also developing new aesthetics. As I always say, I want to know what will be the Paisley of the 21st century. Are we able to define something new which will really last like the Paisley for centuries? Because this is it, embrace complexity, whether it's from traditional, from our legacies over the centuries, whether it's new times. It's just about working with what we have and what we have put together. We have built up all this complexity, and so now we have to tackle it, not only in a way which we like, maybe we have to also to accept the dislikes. So here, again, my colleague Mirella, more or less an impression of summerly life, maybe in Italy, in Tuscany, wherever in the world, and these colorings. With colors which are light and transparent, layers of colors together bring new inspiration. So we see here a very clear, there's no shade of or hint of gray in this story. This is all about wonderful colors. And as I have been had a short chat this morning,